Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert's Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, as I've been under the weather a little bit, I haven't been working too much on the showcase of the independents. And trying to do some catch up as well with some of those shows as well, beyond what I've already done. So we are going to get back on track with that. Violence and Suffering is actually the name of the next company, VxS. They are a small company out of New York. They've been around since 2017. In 2022, they had 7 shows, 58 matches, 54 men's, 1 women, 3 intergender. I'm going to go through the best 25 matches of 2022 for them. All these matches are either 3.5 star or 3 3/4 star. There are some familiar faces here if you're an independent wrestling fan. The likes of Aries, Kevin Koo, Adrian Quest, Kevin Blackwood, Cole Radrick, Nick Wayne, Brian Cage, Rich Swann, Speedball Mike Bailey, Effie, Jimmy Lloyd, Jimmy fucking Lloyd. So yeah, a lot of familiar faces wrestled for Violence and Suffering VxS. There are a lot of the deathmatch guys, a lot of the guys that work for some of those companies as well. So we're going to get started. Like I said, 25 matches. They're all either 3.5 or 3 3/4. So all these 3.5 are just kind of the lump sum. They're no particular order. There are a bunch of them here. So excuse me, 17 of them. So we're just going to run down those. So 3.5 star matches. From Better Off Dying, May 26th. It was a Lucha Extreme match. It was Aries versus Drew Parker. Drew Parker is a deathmatch champion over in Europe and in GCW. This match actually ended in no contest. It was a 3.5 star match. Next up, we had Coast to Coast East Part 1. On July 16th, there were 2 shows for VxS Coast to Coast. There was an East and there was a West. Kind of like what WWE did for WrestleMania 2, where there was 3 parts. It was started in New York, then Chicago, then LA. This was kind of the New York, LA part of that. So on the West Coast East, we had Yoya versus Kevin Koo. Yoya got the victory. On the west part of it, we had Medio Extremo, which is one half of Los Mezizos, who are the tag champions for GCW. He was going up against Adrian Quest. Medio Extremo got the victory on that one, also 3.5. Also, matter of fact, the next 3 matches, all 3.5 star, all came from Coast to Coast West, Part 2 from July 16th. You can actually catch that show on Fight TV as well. I believe it is part of Fight Plus. So if you're a Fight Plus subscriber for GCW, you can definitely check this show out as well. We had a triple threat match. We had Kevin Blackwood versus Cole Radrick versus Jordan Cruz. Kevin Blackwood getting the victory. We had Brian Cage, the Machine, versus Nick fucking Wayne, the 17-year-old superstar. Brian Cage getting the victory there. Again, it's one of those. I talk about that a lot here. Styles make fights. So you have Brian Cage, powerful, can also do his fair share of agility stuff versus Nick Wayne, high flyer. Styles make fights, and that's what this was. It was a fight. 3.5 star, Brian Cage getting the victory. The other half of Los Mezizos, Syndicate, going up against Jimmy Lloyd. Jimmy Lloyd, he's a different boy. He got the victory here in a 3.5 star match. The next 6 matches, all 3.5 star, all came from VxS, Jimmy Lloyd's American Wasteland on February 17th. We had a 6-way men's scramble match. Aerial Assault was actually the gimmick on that. It's an aerial assault match. We had Dylan McKay going up against Kobe Carino versus Cole Radrick versus Eli Everfly versus Jason Kincaid versus Ruckus. Dylan McKay getting the victory. Then we had Nick Wayne versus Rich Swann. Nick Wayne getting the victory. Again, these are all 3.5 star matches. Next up, we had Speedball Mike Bailey versus Marcus Mathers. Speedball getting the victory there. PCO versus Matthew Justice. PCO getting the victory. Effie versus Jimmy Jacobs. Yes, the Jimmy Jacobs that was part of Ring of Honor. That was part of, I can't think of the faction of Ring of Honor. Yeah, he was with Brody Lee and all them. 3.5-star match. And then we had the main event of that show, which was a Wasteland Death Match. We had Jimmy Lloyd versus Matt Tremont. Jimmy Lloyd getting the victory. Again, 3.5-star. The next 3 matches came from VxS Awful Things on September 22nd. We had an intergender tag match. We had Doomfly, Delilah Doom, and Eli Everfly taking on Wasted Youth, Dylan McKay and Marcus Mathers. Doomfly, Delilah Doom, and Eli Everfly getting the victory on that one in a 3.5-star match. Next up, we had Jimmy Lloyd versus Jacob Batu. Yes. former MLW champion, West Coast Pro champion, Jacob Batu, going up against Jimmy Lloyd. The different boy once again got a victory there. Next up, from the same show, Awful Things, we had Brian Cage versus Jordan Oliver. Brian Cage getting the victory. 3.5-star match. All right. That is a 25 through 11. Now the top 10. The first 4 of these are going to be 3.5-star, and then we get into 3 3/4-star. These all 3 actually came from Already Dead, which was January 7th. We had a 6-way men's scramble match, intergender scramble match. We had Casanova Valentine versus Chelsea Durden versus Gory versus Kit Osborne versus Otis Kogar versus Ty Hill. Casanova Valentine getting the victory on that one. From the same show, Already Dead, we had Jordan Oliver versus G Raver. This was actually before G Raver went to jail for drugs. That was in the news here probably 3 or 4 months ago. Jordan Oliver getting the victory there. Next up, from the same show, in the Shattered Dreams match, we had Masada versus Jimmy Lloyd. This time, the different boy did not get the victory. Masada got the victory there. 3.5-star. Now, the next 7 are all 3 3/4-star matches. First up are the next 2 from the show Better Off Dying, May 26th. Jordan Oliver versus Jack Evans. Jordan Oliver getting the victory there. 3 3/4-star match. And then from the same show, Better Off Dying, Nick Wayne versus Chris Bay, part of the Bullet Club. Nick Wayne getting the victory there. And then we had from Jimmy Lloyd's American Wasteland, February 17th, H2O Danny Havoc Hardcore Championship on the line. Now, Violence and Suffering does not have a championship, but some of the other deathmatch companies, H2O, No Peace Underground, their titles will be defended on VxS shows. This was the Ultraviolet Hardcore match. We had Triple Threat. We had champion Lucky 13 versus Alex Colon versus G Raver. Lucky 13 retaining his H2O Danny Havoc Hardcore Championship, 3 3/4-star. Number 4 on the list comes from Lucid Dreams, April 29th. Mike Bailey versus Aris. Mike Bailey getting the victory. Speedball in a 3 3/4-star match. From Already Dead, The Already Dead was a combination show with No Peace Underground. We had a House of Horrors match. Matt Tremont and AJ Gray. Nice and bloody AJ Gray in this match. AJ Gray getting the victory. 3 3/4-star. Number 2 on the list. Same show. Already Dead. Triple Threat. Lucky 13. Akira. Marcus Mathers. Lucky 13 getting the victory. 3 3/4. And then I would say one of the best matches, at least the best 7. They're all 3 3/4-star here. No Peace Underground Championship. Violence and Suffering teaming up with No Peace Underground. Already Dead. January 7th. Champion Pero versus JTG. Yes. The same JTG that was one half of Crime Time back in the day. Yeah, we go back in the day a lot. Pero getting the victory over JTG, 3 3/4-star match. those were the 25 best matches of Violence and Suffering from 2022. As we work on this showcase of the independents, the plan initially was the top 31 companies from 2022, but there has been some changes to that. Some companies took their streaming stuff down. There was some stuff on High Spots that's been taken down. There's been stuff on Fight TV that's been taken down, on Independent Wrestling TV that's been taken down. I guess as the contract with these streaming services change, the entire library gets gone, and that actually puts a damper on me trying to play catch up with some stuff. So it looks like that 31 will be about 25. I think we'll end up with. I have a couple I need to finish up watching for the next week or so. So by the end of January, which is a week from Tuesday, I should have about 25 independent wrestling companies that we've profiled here. Hopefully in 2023, we will, toward the end of 23, we'll get some more of those up as well for the 23 year. So hopefully we can do this again next year. Profile independent wrestling. If you've never watched independent wrestling, please do. What you see on a Monday Night Raw, a Friday Night SmackDown, a AEW wouldn't be possible without independent wrestling. And I say that, a lot of people are like, well, it's different. No, yes and no. If you look at WWE, look at your main storylines. Best on Raw, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Mox when he was, or Dean Ambrose when he was there. Where'd they all come from? Independent wrestling, Ring of Honor. Roman Reigns was a product of the system. I mean, I can go down an entire roster and see this person, that person, this person. If you go to AEW, that entire roster was independent wrestling. I mean, AEW was built upon independent wrestling. You had guys like Cody, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, who were wrestling for Ring of Honor, who decided to, not ever go to WWE and do their own thing, New Japan, and guess what? They ended up creating a freaking wrestling company out of it. So yeah, independent wrestling is important to wrestling. It is the territories of the 80s, is now the independent wrestling of the 2020s and beyond. I'm so excited for the plan, the goal, the idea is at the end of 2020s, so in 2030, doing the best of the 2020s, like the best 1,000 matches of the 2020s. I have so much in my library already. I can't wait to get there and do that. So much great wrestling over the next 7 to 8 years, if not longer. So, independent wrestling, please subscribe to the channels, subscribe to my channel, check out their stuff. Great wrestlers there that no one knows. We want them known. We want people to know who Marcus Mathers is, who an Alec Price is, who a Jordan Oliver is. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day, have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.